Hey, you guys, I'm Melissa Curtis. It has been a hot second since I have posted a video. So if you are watching, thank you for being here. And I just wanted to give you like an update. Where have we been? What's been going on? And how the past year or 8 or 9 months, however long it has been, has been going with homeschool. So here's the recap. How has homeschool been going, and where in the world have we been? I took the time personally to reflect on what the last year has really held for us, and I found it to be a really helpful exercise, honestly, to not only remind me of the life that we lived, the trips that we went on, the memories that we made. How funny is it that it's so easy to forget major milestones through the year? But when I thought about making this video and overall it was how did this year go? My thought was, oh, it was fine. Yeah, it was fine. We didn't do anything major. And then I actually flipped through my calendar, looked at all of our events, and was kind of just reminded, oh, wait, no, a lot of life has happened. So that would just be some encouragement for me to you when you are reflecting on your homeschool journey and you're reflecting on the past year and you're trying to analyze if it was successful and what worked and what didn't work. Take some time to get a bigger picture or a bigger view of the whole picture. Look at the actual life that was lived, the memories you guys made, the places you went, the hard and the good lessons learned, all of it. So overall, this year, we had a lot of life for sure happened. The big, huge thing that happened for us is that we are expecting baby number 3, having a boy, Levi David. I'm currently 7 months. Yes, he's doing 2 months, so 31 weeks. Yep, I think that's right. Overall, the pregnancy has been he's super healthy. Pregnancy has been good, but it has been my hardest one yet. Hardest one, period. He's the caboose. There's no more after this, so not even yet. That was not the right word usage. It has been my hardest pregnancy, physically. Just a lot of nausea, extreme exhaustion, well into the second trimester, and just physically, just harder. I've been having more aches and pains, and so that definitely has played a role, especially at the beginning of the pregnancy, with how much we did with school, skipping days because I wasn't feeling good, that sort of stuff. We also had a lot of travel this year that, again, I actually forgot about until I looked at my calendar. We went to Branson in September with family. We were there for a week, and it was just a pure vacation. We went to the Grand Canyon for Christmas with family. We had lots of work trips in between, and we had a lot of time when family came to visit us. And so there was just it was great. We've loved it. But there was a lot of coming and going, and that definitely plays a big role for us, because even when we travel for business trips, there's a lot of business that doesn't happen when we're on the road. So when we get back from being out of town for whatever reason, we tend to go into full business mode. We kind of have to catch up with other client projects, or try to get new projects because we just spent all this money on vacation, real life. And so that it just, I love the flexibility. I love our lifestyle because of it. The ability to just go when we want to. It's one of the reasons why we homeschool, but it does take us longer to get back into the groove of things. And homeschool tends to be on the back burner until we kind of get into the groove of things. We also anticipated a major life event. That sounds really traumatic, but we anticipated a major move this year for our family. We thought we were actually moving about 5 hours away for business related stuff. Like went and looked at houses. We're kind of doing all the things, and it never actually happened. And it did kind of put it like this, like put us in constant limbo for a good like 6 months. Because the chips that we were waiting to fall into play, we thought were just getting delayed. Technically they are delayed, whatever, details, it doesn't matter. But the move like never actually came. And so it's fine. We've like coped and we're good, whatever. But it was a little bit of a bummer because we actually didn't commit to certain things at the beginning of the school year, like come August, September, when it's time to enroll in programs or extracurricular activities. We didn't commit to a lot of stuff because we thought we were moving. And I didn't want to get the girls involved in something and have to pull them out midway through and it just make the transition even harder. And so we were really anticipating that move happening. And it just didn't. So that put a big, like, it kept us in limbo for a really long time where we felt like we were in this constant place of transition at any moment. If I had just looked at our homeschool accomplishments or misses without taking into consideration the actual life that we lived and the life that happened in this past year, then I wouldn't have been able to connect the dots of, why we might have some misses or why, things were super successful. Either way. The last kind of overall life update, when I reflect back on how this year went, what happened in general, if you know us personally or if you've watched some previous videos, then you probably know that we lost Joshua's mom just about 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years and 2 months. And the first year, which would have been my oldest daughter's kindergarten year, like our first real year of homeschooling, was like we were just in complete like survival mode, grieving, processing. A lot of life happened. We were just trying to keep our heads afloat, trying to keep business going, trying to keep like process everything with our girls, all of that stuff. So that first year after her passing was just a lot of survival mode. And then the second year, which was this past school year, my daughter's first grade year, was really like a settling of, I guess, the new reality. Like the fog was kind of lifting. We were getting back into a normal routine, as normal as we can, considering like the other things we were walking through this year. But getting just back into a normal routine and almost a like self-discovery phase, I think would be the best way to describe it, of kind of finding ourselves again individually, finding ourselves again like as a family, getting refocused on like what we feel like we're called to do. I mean, I don't really know the best way to explain it. But if you've had major loss from a loved one or just major life interruptions, then you know how much it can kind of really rock your world for a lot longer than you anticipate. And I feel like there's always some point in that journey when you start to like get your feet back on solid ground again. And so I feel like that was this year, which felt really good and hard at the same time, because that's grief and that's what the journey looks like. Like it's never a one answer thing. So that was our year overall. Definitely a lot of life, some really great memories, and a lot of self-discovery in us. And it's fun to look at the full picture of it before really honing in on like homeschool, because homeschool is such a small part of the big picture, and like your curriculum is just one aspect of the lessons that your kids actually learn in life. So again, if there's any encouragement I could give you, it's to take time to like reflect on the season that this past year was for you and your family, what you guys walked through, what you experienced, the good memories, the bad memories, and yeah, just get like a full holistic picture of it. Okay, now let's get into like the actual homeschool recap. What worked, what didn't, overall, like how did everything go? Overall, I'm really proud of the progress that we made this year. My focus this year was to hone in on like our core subjects to get a good solid foundation. Honestly, it was just to like feel like we had a winning year. That was my goal, to feel like we did more than just survive, and I feel like we did that. The way we did that is that we did not overextend ourselves. I stuck with the basics. I wanted to make sure we stayed disciplined and on track with the basics without like completely overwhelming my daughter and overextending myself. The other thing to know is that we're still in the middle of our school year. We school year round. We don't take have a set beginning or end to our school year. It's just like whenever we want to do it. I don't know. It's just how it's happened for us. It's so funny because I'm a big planner. All about the systems. But it could just be because of like the life that we've had in the past few years that have like coincided with starting homeschool at the same time, that I take homeschool very fluid, very relaxed. When we need to take a break, we take a break. If we have a bad day and don't open the books, so be it. Like, no big deal. We have plenty of time to catch up on it. And I really, it works for us, specifically in the season that we're in. It works for our like work life homeschool balance, which I do plan on like sharing more about in future videos, because like I said, we can have seasons where we're traveling a lot and we're not as like on top of lessons. Okay, the last thing was that we really incorporated my youngest daughter into lessons, and she's 3, she's turns 4 at the end of summer, the end of August. And so she was this was the first year that she was very much ingrained in lessons. She wanted to sit down and do lessons. She asks literally every day. It doesn't matter if it's the weekend. She asks every day to do lessons. She wants to do workbooks. Like, she wants to do it. She is also a very different personality than my first daughter, which is amazing and challenging to manage all at the same time. So I think I underestimated like how much the dynamic was going to change, incorporating my youngest with lessons, and just their different ages, their different personalities, different learning styles. Like, she wants to do workbooks because she loves workbooks. She sees her sister doing them, but she wants to do the pages that she wants to do. Like, she literally wants to flip through and find a page that looks fun for her, and she wants to do that one. She doesn't want to do them in order. And so I'll get into in a little bit like what we actually did with her that worked really well, and some things that didn't. Overall, I think that was probably like our biggest shift this year with homeschool, was really like, it was just a constant juggling act of how to intertwine both of my girls into lessons without neglecting one. And it was just a whole dynamic that I really didn't anticipate. But let's get into like some specific things of what actually worked this year. Number one, like I've mentioned before, sticking with the basics. sticking with some core subjects of math, reading, and handwriting for my oldest daughter worked really well. We needed a structured win this year. Like, I needed to know that we could be disciplined and we can be focused and we can be somewhat consistent given our kind of like fluid scheduling, and feel like it was a win. And I think we did that. And the reason we were able to do that is because, like I mentioned before, we did not overextend ourselves. We didn't cram our schedule. I focused on math, reading, getting solid phonics foundation, and handwriting. And we added things in addition. We did do a history curriculum that I'll talk about. And we tried a few different things here and there, but those were our 3 core subjects that if we got them done, lessons were done in my head for that day. That really helped us manage expectations. And like I said, feel like we were giving ourselves a win for like the whole year. Okay, another thing that worked this year is some of the curriculum picks that we did for my youngest. So she is 3. The original curriculum that we picked out for Emery, my preschooler, is on the did not work list. So I'll get to that in a second. What we ended up doing is finding like a Scholastics style workbook that was age appropriate for her, that had a lot of matching, tracing shapes, bunch of activities. And she like devoured that up. Like I think my mom found it at like an Aldi type of store. She devoured it up. Like she literally would do like 5 to 10 pages in a row. She loves those like engaging workbook type of activities. And we did that probably the first part of the year. And at the beginning of this year, I felt like she was ready for somewhat more of a structure, nothing intense, because like homegirl likes to make her own decisions. And if I gave her too many things that she had to do, she probably wouldn't do it. So nothing too like super rigorous or intense. But we went with Masterbook Stepping Stones, and this is their pre-K, like toddler and pre-K curriculum. If you're familiar with Masterbooks, they're very gentle. The lessons are bite-sized, and it just takes things at a little bit of a slower process. I'm probably gonna do a whole video on why we love Masterbooks. I really, really love their approach. I think it's one of the reasons why we've made it through in our homeschool journey with such hard like circumstances happening, because nothing felt too overwhelming. And if we got off track, it felt really easy to catch up with. But anyways, this has been a really good win for us. I will say that we haven't done everything in it. Like, she did most of the workbook pages, the matching, the cutting, the coloring. Every lesson has like Bible story, like an actual lesson that I would sit down and talk her through, concepts we would talk through. We really didn't do that, to be honest with you. So we've kind of only done half of this curriculum. We really just did like the workbooks because that's mostly what she wanted to do. So there's a good chance that I'm going to actually go through this again with her and just take the concepts that they're teaching, and like drill in a little bit more, and then just add fun workbooks in addition. So we've really enjoyed Stepping Stones with Masterbooks, specifically for her level. It's worked really well for us. Okay. Try not to show it. One of the last things that I'm only doing a few of like what has worked and what hasn't worked. The last thing that's worked really well for us that we added probably just a few months ago, was implementing the Read Aloud Little Pilgrim's Progress. And this has been a book that's been on my Amazon list for a long time. And I finally just ordered it. And we started reading it with really no plan, just to like treat it as a read aloud, have conversations about it. It's a beautiful book about the journey that a follower of Jesus takes, and it's written in like an adventure tale. There's an original book. This is a rendition that makes the characters are animal. It's a little bit for like a elementary age level. I've been loving this. Like, I've been loving this. It has been so fun. The book's beautiful. The conversations that we have from it are beautiful. I actually purchased an adventure guide, I think is what it's called. I'll try and put a picture up on the screen, but if I will for sure link it in the description. When I ordered this book, I kind of scoured the internet, seeing if there was like a study guide, something that had like discussion questions. And I found this one on Amazon, and it's amazing. It's like it's exactly what I was looking for. So it goes through the chapters. These chapters are very short. It goes through the chapters, and it has like vocabulary words. It has scripture references. It has questions. So it has like just narration questions of what happened when this happened, like having your child recall the stories. And then you can look at scripture and you can reference that specific analogy that's referenced in the book, referenced in scripture. There are character analysis. It has just turned into this whole unit study that I didn't anticipate it to turn into. And I'm like loving it. It has like inspired me so much. Esther loves it. So we have actually taken the reading of this book really slow, and we're going through the study guide, and I'm making a notebook. So she's going through, and like we did some character analysis. We've talked about plots. We have, what else have we done? She's going to go through each chapter and draw a picture, like recap each chapter in picture format, so that by the end of the book, she has kind of picture by picture, chapter by chapter, what happened. My goal is that at the end of the book, she'll kind of have a project where on the poster board or a big like rollout of paper, she will draw a map of the character's actual journey and progress, and all the places that he went and all the characters that he encountered. And I've just been loving it. I'm like, it has rekindled a love of reading in me. I loved reading as a child. I was a very early reader. Like, I think I was reading, I was reading the Anne of Green Gables set at 6 and 7. Like, I was a very early reader. And it has just like completely, I don't know, I love it. So I highly recommend it. I'm like gushing all over it. So I'll link the book, Little Pilgrim's Progress, and the adventure guide, which has just been such a great companion. And again, like the conversations I've had with my daughter have been so encouraging, so life-giving. It is, okay, I'm gonna stop about that. But it's safe to say that it has worked really well for us. Okay, now let's go through some things that have not worked. The first thing that did not work for us was the original plan for Emery, which is my youngest, my 3-year-old. We used, I did this when I did like the curriculum reveal video. Where did I get this? It's not Rod and Staff. Lord have mercy. I'll link it down below. It's not Rod and Staff. I can't for the life of me remember who I got this from. Super affordable. It's a 4-set workbook. I think these are like $2.50 each, like very, very affordable. And like they look great. We did do some like tracing, matching, cutting, let's see, tracing the lines. She just was not interested in these, and I think it's because it was black and white. It wasn't like, the pictures aren't very engaging. There's also a lot of like old time references, like an old time oil lamp, and I don't even know what that is. I don't know. Or like there were activities where like you had to match what belonged in the kitchen, and it would be like the old, like the hand blenders. Like a 3-year-old doesn't know what that is. I'm a grandma, vintage loving, antique thrifting person, and my kid doesn't even know what that is. So it felt a little bit dated. Yeah, the concepts are all there. The concepts that she would have walked through would have been completely on her level and what I wanted her to go through, but she just did not enjoy it. She didn't want to do it. So that was a no for us. Okay, the other thing that didn't work for us this year, and honestly was probably my biggest like area of conviction when it came to our homeschool year, was our Bible curriculum. We just didn't have one. I kept saying like, I'm gonna find one, we're gonna do it, we're gonna figure something out that works with us, that's like a good rhythm and a flow, and we didn't. Let me see. A year ago, I picked up this, which is Telling God's Story, because my daughter's kindergarten year, we were at the end of her kindergarten year, we were kind of in the same spot of like, we really want to incorporate more Bible study into her day-to-day. Master Books incorporates Bible and everything, but I wanted something, I don't know, I just felt like I was doing the bare minimum, and that's not an area that I want to do the bare minimum in. But I still just have struggled so much with finding a curriculum that feels right to us, that fits our family, that doesn't feel too like Sunday schoolish, but also doesn't feel too intense. And so we just floundered. And so we really didn't do Bible until about a month ago. And I scoured and scoured online, social media, YouTube videos for so long, trying to find something that I felt like would be the best fit for our family. All that being said, that was a miss this year, but in the past month, I have picked this back up, and I have figured out a way to implement it, and that it works for us. It's been going really well so far. I'll probably do another video on it, actually. Now I'm thinking through. So this is the first part, Telling God's Story. This is year 1, meeting Jesus. And they go through a Bible study, there's activities, there are coloring pages, and you can kind of pick and choose what you want to do and what fits with your family. And there's also a teacher guide that really thoroughly walks you through as a parent what you want to instill in your kids. So we're giving it a try again. I will let you know. Okay, 2 more things of what has not worked. Well, one thing hasn't worked, one thing's like 50-50. Science. We were gonna do Master Books Level 2, Adventures in the Physical World. We had walked through level 1. It takes you through Creation Week. I have like nothing bad to say about this curriculum or the way that Master Books teaches science at all. I honestly, judge me, you can totally judge me. I like opened up to the first lesson, and it's like on kinetic energy, and my brain just went, that doesn't sound fun. And so I just never did it. It's like that, like the like hands up emoji. We just never did it. I'm not giving up on this curriculum. I'm holding on to it. I love the way that it actually teaches science. It's a lot of hands-on activities. It's probably the reason why it didn't happen, because I am learning. I'm like less of a hands-on crafty homeschool parent than I actually want to be. And so this just felt like too much this year, but we're holding on to it. I'm sure we're going to reference it at some point in the future, even if it's not doing the full curriculum, but just picking out little lessons and experiments. Last one. Okay, this one isn't like, it's not that it didn't work for us. It started out really good, actually. And we started with high hopes and we were all in, and then we just kind of fizzled out. And that is our 50 States by Knotgrass. We're still doing this curriculum. Let me just say, like, we're committed to finishing it. There is nothing like bad or wrong with the curriculum at all. There's a lot, it's a very basic curriculum. It kind of just gives you like facts about each state, some engaging stories, and there's a lot of opportunity to like dig deeper. There are read alouds you can do. We did do one of the read alouds. There are rabbit trails you can go on. Like, there's a lot that you can do with this curriculum. We just haven't used it to like its fullest like capability and its fullest potential this year. So it's not that it hasn't worked. It's just kind of meh for us right now, which is fine also because, I mean, my daughter's 6. I'm like not trying to have her memorize every state and capital and like be able to like hand pick out individual flags. You know what I mean? It's an overall good overview, getting introduced to the states. So like I said, we're finishing it because we are going to be diving into American history next. And I want her to have a good, like, solid foundation. I still do really enjoy, like, I like this curriculum. I'm just not using it to its full potential. I think the way that I could. And so it just feels like a 50-50 thing for us, if that makes sense. Okay, so this is probably a long video by now. These are the things that have worked for us, what hasn't worked for us this year. I would love to know in the comments what's working for you. If you see something that's we're using or not using, has it worked for you? Has it not worked for you? What has worked instead? Let me know. Before we end, I just want to share a little bit about what we'll be doing in the future. And some future videos coming out soon. So we're still finalizing our plans like for the next year, even though it's just very fluid. Like, I don't know when our year ends. Our year will end when Levi is here. Like, when we go into like baby is almost here mode, we will be taking a pause. We will resume lessons when we feel like we are having our feet back on the ground after having a new baby. You know, like, we'll resume lessons. I'm hopeful he's due at the end of July. I don't know, maybe the end of September. Like, give us a good 8 weeks of getting like reoriented as a family. So I'm still finalizing some plans. We're still gonna keep up until the point that we take a break. We're still doing our core math, reading, handwriting. I really want to keep up with a read aloud. Once we finish the Little Pilgrim's Progress, I would like to have another read aloud, even if we don't do like an extensive like notebook like we're doing with this one, just to keep the habit of reading out loud. So I'll be doing a future video of, I do have some things planned that we're just gonna stagger and like I'm gonna roll out accordingly. And yeah, we're really excited. Overall, our theme for coming into this year is again like managing expectations with a new baby, with a toddler, with a second grader. It's actually like I'm really excited to be like, okay, like we're in it. Like we're in it. We got all the levels going on right now. This is kind of like the beautiful chaos of homeschool, right? Is that you get to juggle and figure out what's going to work for you next and in the next season. So while we are managing expectations, once we have the baby, we will still absolutely be doing lessons, because quite frankly, we can't afford to take more time off. Like we have let life kind of toss us back and forth and determine our schedule long enough. I really feel like we have a solid foundation. We have our feet firmly on the ground that we can build off of what we have done. And quite honestly, I had a revelation a few months ago when I realized that the way we approach our homeschool lessons is actually instilling work ethic into our children, because this is their work, right? They see us work, and they see me and my husband work at our business and work at our job, and they see the work ethic that's there, but this is their work. And if I'm not taking it seriously, and if I'm not holding them accountable to the level that they should be held accountable, then it's not instilling the work ethic that we want to instill in them. And so that was a big conviction area that I'm definitely taking with me moving forward. And so that's going to be our focus moving forward, is just staying disciplined, making sure that we are finishing everything like to the best of our ability, and finishing it correctly. Not that we can't get it wrong along the way, not that we can't make mistakes. I actually welcome mistakes, but I want to make sure we get in the habit of correcting mistakes so we finish the best way possible. Does that make sense? Okay, you guys, thank you for watching. I feel like this video is like long enough. I would love to know how your year has went, what has worked, what hasn't worked. I will see you in the future. You can plan to see more videos from me. Like I have said, this year was just a year of kind of self-discovery and reflecting on what it is that we feel called to do and that we want to pursue. And I love creating content, and I love building a lifestyle brand, I guess, that really highlights the beauty of this journey. And I love our unique journey of being stay-at-home parents, work-from-home parents, growing a business, while also being all in with homeschool and like all the chaos that comes with it. Beautiful chaos that comes with it. So you can plan on seeing more video and more content from me, not just about homeschool, but just about how we incorporate the business, life lessons, kind of everything in between. So I would look forward to seeing you soon.